They're like, yo, what's taking Akon so long? What is he doing with the money?
I think people kind of fail to realize sometimes when you build an infrastructure how long it takes. You know what I'm saying? Like, think about how long it takes you to build your...
Akoin, a name known all around the world. In the 2000s, he was one of the most popular artists on the planet. His voice is unmistakable. His hits like Smack That, Lonely, and Don't Matter played on radios everywhere. His collaborations with stars like Eminem and Lady Gaga made him a true icon of global music. But Akon always wanted to be more than just a musician. He once said, "Music made me famous, but I want to change the world." And people believed him. Why? Because he had already shown that he was capable of big things. His project Akon Lighting Africa brought solar electricity to hundreds of villages across Africa. That was a real achievement. It proved he wasn't just about songs, he could also make an impact on people's lives.
4 years later, almost nothing has been built. Just take a look for yourself.
In 2020, and since then, the whole area around it has been mostly grassland with animal grazing on it.
Akon hasn't publicly responded, but told the BBC back in December 23 that the project was still fully on track. In 2024, Senegal gave Akon 2 weeks to start building or risk losing the land, but he missed the deadline, missed the payments, and the government took back the land.
So when he announced his next vision, to build a futuristic city in Senegal worth $6 billion, nobody doubted him. Akon promised to create a real-life Wakanda, a shining modern metropolis that would represent the future of Africa, and thousands of people believed him. In 2018, he officially unveiled the idea of Akon City. This would be an independent, futuristic city built from scratch. The concept designs looked like something straight out of a Marvel movie. Towering skyscrapers, futuristic bridges, domed cultural centers, gleaming parks, shopping malls, hospitals, schools. There was even a planned Akon Tower.
Whatever happened to Senegal's Wakanda, Akon City? Well, the $6 billion dream is officially dead. In 2020, R&B star Akon, who you'd probably know from
more than 300 meters tall, designed to become a symbol of African pride. The city would cover more than 2,000 acres of land near Dakar, the capital of Senegal. And the most ambitious promise of all, the city would run on its very own cryptocurrency called Akoin. Politicians applauded, the Senegalese president gave the project special economic status, the press hailed it as the African Wakanda, and local communities celebrated. They were told this would bring jobs, raise land values, and open the door to a new future. People believed that Akon could really deliver Africa's city of tomorrow. In August 2020, the project had its official groundbreaking ceremony. Akon arrived with a big smile, accompanied by politicians, journalists, and community leaders. Flags were raised, cameras flashed, speeches were made. Akon placed the symbolic first stone of the city and declared, "This is a historic moment that will change not only Senegal, but all of Africa." The atmosphere was filled with excitement and hope.
A real-life Wakanda in Senegal, a futuristic city powered by solar energy with its own hospital, university, and even its own cryptocurrency, Akoin.
But then time passed. Months turned into years. And what did people see? Not skyscrapers, not construction sites, not progress. Instead, just an empty field with a few rocks and faded billboards showing the original designs. The Wakanda of Africa was nowhere to be found. Journalists began investigating. When BBC reporters visited the site, they were stunned. There was no construction equipment, no workers, no development, just dust and grass. One BBC reporter said, "This looks more like an abandoned construction site than a $6 billion project." The Guardian described it as, "Akon City currently resembles a mirage in the desert, beautiful in concept but unreachable in reality."
Now Senegal is moving forward with its own plan, a $1.2 billion state-backed tourism hub with hotels, apartments, and a marina, which is expected to create 15,000 jobs. Akon still owns a small piece of land and might work on something more realistic, but the dreams of Akon City is over.
And so the biggest question emerged: where did the billions go? Akon had promised massive investment from international funds and private investors. But when journalists looked for evidence of any major financial backer, they found nothing. No bank, no credible institution had officially confirmed its involvement. Financial analysts began raising red flags, with one saying, "This looks more like a kingdom of promises than a real project." When people started demanding answers, Akon blamed the pandemic. He said COVID-19 had slowed everything down and that Senegalese bureaucracy had complicated the process.
That's gonna be about 19 months, easy. So now we talk about building a city. These are things that takes 10, 15 years of development.
But people noticed that during the same time, Akon was still performing concerts, appearing on television, attending events around the world. What they didn't see was any money going into actual construction. In one interview, he even admitted maybe Akon City will only be finished in a few decades, maybe 2035 or even 2040. That statement shocked those who had believed the city was already underway. Meanwhile, local communities began to feel betrayed.
Just to get phase 1 going.
Yes.
And I think my biggest mistake was I promoted it heavily.
Many people had sold their land believing it would increase in value. They were promised jobs, hospitals, schools. Instead, they were left with nothing. One resident said, "We gave up our land expecting a better future, but now we have no land and no jobs." Another added, "Our village has become a laughingstock. Everyone asks us where Wakanda is and we have no answer." But perhaps the biggest disappointment was Akon's cryptocurrency, Akoin. This was supposed to be the beating heart of the city, the currency of the future.
Before I got it started.
Gotcha. They want microwave.
Yeah,
Right away.
So when I say, yeah, I'm building a city, so now I'm thinking, okay, I'm gonna have time to get the plans together, promote this shit. I had to,
Akon promoted it as a revolutionary tool that would unite Africa's economy. But in reality, Akoin quickly turned into a failure. It launched on a few small exchanges. Its value dropped and investors complained they couldn't even use it for real transactions. One frustrated investor said, "We believed in Akon because he's a big name, but now we feel scammed. Akoin has no value at all." Even crypto experts mocked it, calling it,
I mean, it's all right. Like, overrated as in my opinion. I mean, and you know what though? That's typically how the bullshit goes. You feel me?
a hype coin with no real-world use. Critics and journalists began comparing Akon City to the infamous Fire Festival, a luxury event marketed as paradise but ending in complete disaster. One critic said bluntly, "This isn't a city. This is the biggest PR stunt of the century." Akon used his name to lure in millions. Even the Senegalese government, which had initially supported the project with pride, started to back away. Official updates stopped. Politicians no longer mentioned it. The project that had once been promoted as historic slowly vanished from official agendas. And during interviews, Akon himself began dodging questions. Sometimes he said it was technical problems. Other times, he pushed the timeline decades into the future. For the people who lived on that land, the disappointment turned to humiliation. They had expected jobs and opportunity. Instead, they got curious tourists who visited only to see the emptiness. One local man described it bitterly. "It looks more like a scene from a post-apocalyptic movie than a multi-billion-dollar city." And so, the criticism grew louder. Where did the money go? Did it even exist? Why is there still nothing but a field? Defending himself, Akon has continued to insist, this is not a scam. Building a city takes time. We're moving slowly, but we're moving. But the patience of the public is wearing thin. People now ask, where are the billions? Where's the transparency? Why hasn't even one building gone up? This entire saga has become a lesson to the world. Shiny promises, beautiful designs, and famous names don't guarantee results. Behind the glossy images and grand speeches, there can be nothing but empty promises. Today, when people hear the name Akon City, most of them laugh. Some call it the biggest African scam. Others call it a broken dream. But the bigger question remains, was Akon City simply a naive dream crushed by reality, or was it a carefully orchestrated deception to raise millions with no real plan? One thing is certain, there is no city, no skyscrapers, no hospitals, no schools, only a dusty field, broken promises, and thousands of people left disappointed. And perhaps that's the real message here. Whenever celebrities stand up and promise paradise projects worth billions, maybe we should ask one simple question before believing. Where is the proof?